Guys, we'll wrap things up for the O-line today with Caden, and we'll start with questions for him with Jeff.
Hey, Caden, we talked to Coach Rudolph about how well you were playing last year before you got hurt, and he mentioned that, coming off the surgeries the year before that you just had to really battle through. Can you share with us what you had to go through and how tough that was to get on the field?
Yeah, so I had double hip surgery. One was right before the Rose Bowl, one was January. I was doing rehab, all that kind of stuff, just a typical rehab for anybody that goes through that type of surgery. And I feel like I was making really good progress. I knew I was going to be out for spring ball, but I was still anticipating getting a good progression throughout. But because of COVID, we got sent home, and I got sent home right in like the peak of my rehab, when I was really supposed to make that transition of, getting off of crutches and beginning like my running progressions and fieldwork progression. So that was a pretty big adversity hit that I had to go through. But luckily enough, I was still in contact with all our trainers and everything. Had a weight room at home and a lot of the stuff to be able to rehab through. So it was definitely a journey to be able to get through for the season. But I feel like with all the help that was around me, they put me in a good position to be able to succeed.
Colton. Oh, you're muted, Colton.
All right. James, to that point, how do you feel now in spring? Do you feel like you're 100% yet, or where do you feel like you're at?
With the knee injury and then on top of the hips, I definitely feel like with the time that I had to fully recover, I feel like I'm at 100% right now. No doubt that, I'm progressing and everything like that. There's still stuff that I was able to, that I missed out on, and like weight room strength and stuff like that. With the hip surgeries, had to put a pause on lower body strength. And then once when I was regaining it, had to put a hold on it with my MCL. But, thanks to Coach Snee and everybody in the strength staff, they're able to help me out to get me back to where I am today. So I definitely say that I'm back to 100%.
Caden, what happened with the knee last season, and what was the play that it happened on, and can you take us through the process of getting back from that particular injury?
Yeah, so the play, I believe it was play 7 during Indiana first quarter, obviously. I had a back block, so I was going back on one of the D tackles, and right when I fit them, I was driving them, and one of their corners from my right, their left corner, tried to come in and go for a cut tackle, but he got knocked off balance, and his his shoulder pad came straight into my knee. Fully tore my MCL, had a tibia fracture and an MPFL strain. But it was kind of interesting. The same thing happened to me my junior year in high school, almost the same thing, and same exact injury, MCL tear, Foley, all that kind of stuff. But because this was the second time around and it tore in the exact same place, it actually healed faster. So I was only out for 3 weeks rehabbing, which is surprising for that type of injury. I was on crutches for like a couple days, but the rehab for that was actually a lot faster than expected. And so just after that, after the season, I went home. I was cleared to be able to fully lift and everything, and I just took advantage of that.
Back to Colton.
Kate, what have you seen out of a guy like Logan Bruss? Coach Rudolph mentioned that he's stepped up a little bit in the leadership roles. Maybe not the most vocal guy all the time, but by example. Just what have you seen from him this spring or throughout this offseason from that leadership perspective?
I think he's somebody that leads by example. He's somebody that he's going to go out in the field and work every play, every opportunity that he has. So it's something that when you're watching him that you pick up from. I kind of had a unique situation. Me and him are in the same major, so we've been going through the same progression. So I get to get to know him on a personal level outside of football, and just hanging out with them and going through school and everything. So I feel like we have like a really good connection on and off the field to be able to get his leadership role and everything. So.
Back to Jesse.
Caden Tanner Bornolini got put in a really difficult spot last season, having to come in and play as a young guy. What has his progression looked like? It sounds like he's getting some reps in the 2D. Where has he evolved?
I think he's evolved a lot. I think everything something that we all struggle with coming in as an offensive lineman is getting out of that young mindset. It's easier for positions like skill positions to go out and perform. They're in a little different position, but as a lineman, you almost got to grow up a lot faster. Everything's gonna be more physical and all that comes with it. I definitely think that he did well last season, and I think that he's definitely working on that. But yeah, I mean, it's something that we all struggle with to be able to get down.
I got time for a couple more. We'll go to Jake.
Caden, Joe mentioned that Jack Nelson was getting some work at right guard. What have you seen out of him early on? He'll be a second-year player coming on, and what could he bring to the offensive line?
You're talking about Jack Nelson? Yeah, he's somebody that he has a lot of passion for the game. He goes out and he gives it his all every play, whether he's right or wrong on the assignment. So we definitely need somebody like that on the O-line, not somebody that's timid or playing to make sure that their assignment is right, but actually just going out there and just fully just committing to it and playing. I've been trying to work with them to be able to like calm down and get his assignment right, obviously, because that's most important. But I think he's in a really good spot and where he's at right now and contributing. He's just once he gets that down, he's going to be one good player.
All right, we'll wrap things up for Caden with one more from Jeff.
Okay, and I just double checked. So your major is industrial engineering, you and Logan, correct? And
Yeah.
what's more enjoyable, talking about that or football with that guy?
Right. I think we would both agree that football is more fun to talk about because we do spend hours upon hours of homework together. So it kind of gets a little tedious at times talking about the school aspect of it. So I'll definitely say talking ball with them is a lot more fun.
All right, thanks, Caden. Appreciate your time.
Yep.
Hey guys, we're back with Tyler, and we'll go ahead and get started for him with questions from Jeff.
Hey, Tyler, we're just talking to Coach Rudolph about your work at left tackle, and I can't remember if you got any work on that side, even in practice last year. How's that going, and has that been a difficult transition at all?
The left side's been good. It is a little bit of a new transition because I didn't play at all this past year, but from the year before, working left and right, I feel like it's given me an advantage, especially this year with it. So it's a lot smoother of a transition than it could be, but it's going good.
Colton?
Yeah, Tyler, I mean, you got all the starts last year at right tackle. Just want to know, what did you learn about yourself or learn about playing that consistently like you did last season?
I think personally, the biggest thing I learned is getting the pace for the game. That was my first time starting multiple games in a row. So just getting a feel for the conditioning that's required for that. So And with the consistency part, I feel like I've learned how to be more consistent. That's the biggest thing I'm probably working on right now. So I guess just understanding the game a little bit more through playing and starting games has been huge for me and getting my consistency down.
Jesse?
Tyler, can you share what you've seen from Logan Brown, who's also working over there on the left side, and perhaps what your discussions have been like with him and trying to get him to pick up the position?
I think Logan's been doing, he's been working his tail off and he's been doing a good job. I think his biggest thing is consistency. Just making sure he gets that down right now. But, I've seen some pretty spectacular things just out of pure talent. And I think his biggest battle is just getting through, some of the younger guys stuff that we all face when we come in. So I think once he gets that down, he'll be a hell of a player.
Back to Colton.
And Coach Rudolph said that Logan Bruss has increased his voice a little bit in the meeting room and is putting it on tape, leading by example. Just what have you seen from him off the field, trying to bring some of the younger guys along or stepping up in one of those leadership roles?
Yeah, I think Russ has done a tremendous job getting people together. I think we've all, I think that's been an emphasis for all of us this past offseason is coming closer as a team, especially with COVID last year. Things kind of got separated, a lot less in-person things. Even though we're on the field, it's still hard to be in contact with everybody when we're trying to follow protocols. So I think that was our biggest goal this past offseason, this past winter, was to connect with everybody, connect with our team, connect with younger guys on the team, guys that haven't been on the team as long. So I think Bruss has done a great job. I think the whole team has done a great job at connecting.
Back to Jeff.
Yeah, Tyler, you just talked about Logan being kind of one of the leaders. He doesn't strike me as a guy who's really chatty. Like, you seem real comfortable talking. He doesn't say much. Is that kind of out of his comfort zone to do that, to be a leader like that?
I'd say Bruss is more of the quiet type of guy, but when he wants his voice heard and he speaks, he's going to speak. So I think that's where his leadership comes in. A lot of his stuff is leading by example. I ask for help from him for tackle stuff and things like that. So I definitely view Bruss as a leader in the room, and probably more by example and less by voice.
All right, guys, anything else for Tyler? Well, looks like that's it. Tyler, thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, we got Logan with us now, and we'll go ahead and get started questions for him with Jeff.
Yeah, Logan, Tyler and Coach Rudolph said that you are a different person this year. You just can't stop talking, chatty all the time, just riling guys up in the locker room as a leader. Can you confirm or deny that?
I just think every time you get to your senior year, you kind of feel a responsibility that it's kind of your time to take over the reins. And I just think we got a good group of senior guys and a lot of guys with a lot of experience, and just being able to lead with those guys together. I think we have a real good thing going right now, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Colton.
And Logan, Coach Rudolph said that you guys are really pushing each other pretty much across the board, all 5 positions, pretty intense battles with the top 2 groups. What's that like, being a part of that here in the spring and kind of pushing each other all together?
I think every time a guy comes here, that's what you want, is that competition and being pushed by the guys next to you. And I think it's a healthy competition, though, because I think sometimes competition can get to the point where you want the guy that you're competing with to fail, and I don't think it's like that at all. I think we've gotten a lot closer over this past year with all the COVID stuff that's been going on, and I just think it's a lot of guys helping each other out, pointing out mistakes that other guys are making, and just pushing to make this whole group as good as it can be.
Jesse.
Logan, Coach Rudolph kind of laid out how he envisions the 2 deep right now, and there's a lot of guys at some different spots. Were you surprised at all when you started practice, or when you found out where guys would be, just the rotations and the different spots?
For my time here, what I've seen to happen in spring ball is anything can happen, and Coach Rudolph likes to use spring as a time to kind of try different guys around in different spots. So just any experience you can get in any different position is really valuable. there were springs where I was playing left guard and right guard, right tackle, and I just thought all those things helped me kind of perfect some little things you might not get at just focusing on one position. And I think it's beneficial for guys that play with different guys, guys that like try different spots. It just helps you kind of round your game off even more.
Jake?
Logan, I was going to ask about just Tyler Beach. I know that Joe had said that he was over on the left side. Just what do you see out of him? What he can bring in his versatility, either at the right tackle or now he's like practicing at the left tackle spot.
He's come a long way in our time here. It's been fun to see him grow just from when we were friends back in the dorms to being roommates now, senior year. I think it's valuable that he can play both sides, and I know he'll do a great job wherever coach decides to put him. And I had a lot of fun playing with him last year, so that'll be a little bit different if we don't end up playing next to each other. But I trust him 100% with wherever he's at.
Go back to Colton.
Okay, you kind of mentioned it, but it sounds like you're pretty comfortable playing wherever Coach Rudolph wants you. But sounds like he wants you kind of lock in a tackle throughout this offseason. Is that something that you are excited about, or what kind of different challenges do you expect locking him back there, a position you used to play?
Yeah, it's just something that I've been most comfortable at and played it a couple of years ago. And just coming back from guard, there's a lot of things that you kind of have to relearn. Some things are a lot different than guard, but overall, a lot of stuff is the same, just different techniques here and there. And it just gives you a different appreciation for the game. You understand a lot more coming from a different spot. And hopefully I can use some of those experiences I had at guard last year to help me be even better at tackle.
All right, back to Jesse.
Logan, what have you noticed from Trey Wettig over there on the right side, and what types of discussions have you had with him and bringing him along and sharing some of your knowledge?
It's always fun to see guys grow, especially after that first fall. There's usually a huge jump, and like I've noticed a huge jump in him. He's really starting to buy into the technique and starting to look a lot more confident in the things he's doing. And just with those young guys, it takes time for him to grow, and I think he's finally showing the growth that you want to see, and he's in a real good spot right now.
All right, so that's all we've got. Thanks, Logan.
Thank you.